Hey, everybody. How are you? It's Sharon, RN to CEO. Always, you're more than welcome to connect with me over there on Instagram. There's a link in my bio, bit.ly, lowercase, from RN to CEO. You are more than welcome to this space. Glad to be here. Oh, where I am, it's a little bit chilly. So just want to stop in and say hello to you. My goodness, my goodness, my biggest thing to you today is this. Mm, I want you to refocus on the vision. And I'm going to share 3 tips with you today. Because, yes, my title said why your vision is still a dream, but I am going to share some information that I do hope will help you move to the next level. It will definitely support you because guess what? I want you to win. I want all of us to win. I know that you might have heard it before, but I definitely do because there's nothing sweeter than being in an environment with like-minded individuals who are winning, and we can sit, we can talk, and we can share the same information, all because we chose to do something a little bit different. So that's why I wanted to do this. And it's really quick. I'm not going to be here for very long because this will also be on my YouTube channel. Yeah, we're taking things to the next level. So I'm Sharon, RN to CEO. Really, it's about recognizing those of you who are nurses that you do need to take care of yourself and your business. Yes, you do need to nurture your business. You do need to spend time. Yes, you can work in your business. However, if you work on your business, you're able to take the quantum leap. If you invest in your personal development, let me say that again, investing in your personal development, it can take you to the next level. Allowing yourself, number one of the tips I'm going to share with you is to allow yourself accountability. And something in between there, I want to tell you. If you see other successful people, people who are doing the same thing that you've been dreaming about, you've been thinking about, sometimes you look and you say, oh my goodness, I think that they are living my dream. Somebody just went in my head and just took exactly what it is that I wanted. What if you chose to have a conversation with those individuals, or even an imaginary conversation, any way you want to do it? Find out what did they do to get themselves at the next level. If you want to be like other successful people, find out what it is they did. What was it that you did? And the easiest way to find that out is to have conversations, or even better yet, pick up a book. Get books of other successful individuals. Start to read those books. That's what I did many years ago. I started to listen to, I think before YouTube, we had cassette tapes. I just told my age, not 8 tracks. I know about 8 tracks. All the youngins are like, what's that? Right? I used to listen to recordings and tapes of other people like Les Brown, Anthony Robbins, and so forth and so on. I would just listen, Zig Ziglar, all of these people. And one of the things that I found out that they decided to set some amazing goals. They decided that they were going to invest in themselves because Jim Rohn is one of the persons that I listen to. And he found out the difference between full-time and part-time. And so there are many of us, and I was one of those individuals that I've spoken about it here, where it took me 4 years to leave bedside, but I already had my office, already had my businesses, I already had everything intact, but it was the mindset. It was the mindset, folks. And even though I was investing in myself, I needed to take the courage. I needed to take that, that oof, like somebody push you to, they call it the leap, right? I needed to take that leap to know that what I wanted, that it really could change my life and that of my legacy. Yeah, that of my children, that of my children's children, that of the people that I support and I coach and all of those things. But the thing that I knew, in order for me to do that, in order for me to take them to those spaces, right? My family, my clients, and everything, to say what I wanted, I needed to travel that road. My God, did I just say that? Yes, I did. I needed to travel the route of taking my business or businesses, it depends on how many you have, right, to the next level. And so when I started to even, just to really spend more time around other successful people, other like-minded people, I really did, folks. I made the investment to find myself in a mastermind. So I started small. I started with the free stuff. I'm telling you, get those books, get the books that you can. If you can go to SCORE, many of you, you've done that. They'll give you a little something, in your community, wherever. I used to go to those little community programs, pay $100 for 2 days so I could learn about grants and stuff like that. I didn't want to write grants, but I wanted to understand how they worked. And so I started investing back at the community colleges, right? I started to go to seminars, the free ones, and then I started to upgrade where I would spend some money. I'm in New Jersey and I would drive all the way to Maryland. I remember back in 2009 or 10, I would drive there to go to a women's summit. And that's where I meet a lot of people now who were in that room who are seven-figure earners. There's some people I could point to them. They know me. I know them from way back when they were selling their books, when they were selling their shea butters, they were selling their t-shirts, they were getting coaching clients. I was raising my family. I was a nurse, I was back in school, so that was my route. So that's why I tell people, don't compare yourselves to what other people are doing. And then was saying, well, why am I not there? Certain people chose to make certain sacrifices at different times. Yes, timing is everything, but within that time, many of us now have multi-six-figure businesses. Some are seven figures. Some of us are on our way to seven figures with other things. And that was just one source of income. So I'm telling you, I've seen it. I've been there. I've known people who have self-published, who were selling out of the back of their car, who were writing the name on there. I mean, many of you guys can look at my profile on Clubhouse. And the person who let me into Clubhouse is my friend Tiffany. Tiffany, the Budgetnista, is a multimillionaire. I know Tiffany from way back when, in the day, and she will tell you, when nobody else would let me into Clubhouse. I guess when I popped on, she was like, what? And let me in. Okay, so that's when Clubhouse was like that. And so that's one person I always talk about her, because I got to see, when they said I had a ringside seat to see what perseverance, what that meant, what caring about the community. See, folks, sometimes people forget about people. I saw, or I met someone, and here I knew someone who cared about people. And so if you are in the place and the space, right? If you're in the place and the space where you say you have a business or whatever you're doing or whatever you're producing, the moment you connect with your why, the moment you connect with the people who will benefit from what you are doing, it is a game changer. And I'm going to tell you, for those people who are at another level and you speak to them and you ask them, or you even listen to them, you're seeing that they found a way to invest in themselves. So start with a freebie, start somewhere, start wherever you can get it, but try to figure it out. And I say that I speak to a lot of people, and it is my pleasure to do that, right? Your most important commodity right now, the most important thing to you is your time, and you can never get that back. If we could, we would. And so when somebody invests that in you, and to say, hey, this is what, you go for it, take that for what it's worth, guys, and make sure that when the timing is right and when you are bold enough to figure it out, because there are ways that when I found out the accountability with the coaches and the mentors who supported me, they were able to see my vision before I could. And that is a special gift. It is a gift from the Most High when people can actually see it before you do. And the people who are really honest about it will tell you the truth, because they can actually see it. But the thing about getting to the things that you want, and to the place where you'd like to go, it's that other version of you. That version of you need to catch up with where you're trying to go. All right, let me say that again. Of where you're trying to go, right? There's gonna be so many different layers of you to catch up with that. Because where you are now, to be that kind of earner, to running businesses, multi 6 and 7 figure businesses, right, will require a different version of you. And so I've had I've had people who had a ringside seat to my life who said, Sharon, the conversations that we had back in 2014 are so totally different. Like by 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, the conversation changed. And so when I sit in other circles with different people, right, we all had to take that journey and we allowed ourselves to be accountable. And so when I stepped into that space because I never really talk about myself a lot, but I think people need to get an idea of what that's like. When you step into that place and that space of who you want to become, it will change the game. This is not the stuff that a lot of people talk about, but I know for somebody, it will touch you somewhere. And so when that individual could see the things that sometimes too, I knew in my heart I could, but I just didn't have any idea. But when I allowed myself to be accountable, when I allowed myself to plan out the whole thing, I'm telling you, when I planned out the whole thing, it was just, it revolutionized my life. It revolutionized my life. And so sometimes we have that dream, sometimes, and I'm not going to give you things just to hype you up, right? To get to multi 6 or 7 figures, it takes work. It takes looking at your vision. It takes you looking at who do you need to support you. It looks at you having the systems and the strategies in place so you can have the quantum leap. What would take you, you try to figure out on your own in it may take you about 3 years, maybe 2 years. When you have the proper support and the strategies behind what you need, it could take you a matter of months. And that's why many times I'm saying the accountability is important. You're being bold. Another tip is being bold. It's being bold and trying to figure it out. Make the request, be bold about it. I always say, I talk about the ABCs. The A is accountability. The B is about you being bold with your beautiful, brilliant ideas, especially when you can see them. My God, right? Because sometimes too, when you become weary of it, there's nothing new under the sun. That's why sometimes you'll see somebody doing something like, oh my God, that's exactly what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to say something, write something, do something. But I'm going to tell you this. If you understand the laws we live under spiritual laws, right? And his will must be done. I believe that his will must be done. If not you at this time, it will be by someone else. His will must be done. It's as simple as that. It is law. It must happen. So even when you speak life, when you speak into your vision and what is it that I need, okay, to make that happen, to make this idea that was given to me. And that's why I like for people to understand that what you are called to do is bigger than you. The moment you get in a connection, you truly connect with what you're called to do is bigger than you, then you will understand. With the vision, the provision will be there. The people, opportunity, places, and spaces will show up for you, but it requires you to have that courage to step into that space. All right. But like I said before, we start until we can get to where we need to be to make those things happen. And another thing about it is community. Community is important. Being in a community of like-minded individuals. That's where that's where the conversations are. That's where the real stuff, you hear stuff. That's where when you've been looking for things for months and months and months, you could be sit into a space of maybe like a mastermind. I have a mastermind for my RN to CEO clients. and they come in and they share information with each other. Do you know why they're able to do that and they're comfortable doing that? Because they've all made the investment to be in that space. I sit in masterminds, major ones too, and I run a high level mastermind. But the reason why people are willing to share information is because they know what it took to get there, the sacrifices that they made. Okay, today someone inboxed me with an amazing opportunity, not just for me, but I'll share it with my clients, right? She was like, heads up, this is what's happening. This is the name of the person. This is the email, go for it. I was like, thank you, my friend, right? Thank you, my friend. Okay, and I've done business with her and we're in the same high level mastermind. And that's the thing, guys, because we know what it took to be there. We know what it felt like. We know what it felt like when sometimes the money is acting funny, kids are acting up, Mercury is in retro, whatever, whatever you want to call it, in retrograde, all sorts of things are happening. But then we decided to stick it out. We decide to work on our bounce back muscle. What is that thing that I need to do that when it seems as if I'm falling off the wagon, when all things, it's happening, who do I turn to? A community of like-minded individuals who decided to make the investment to be in that place and in that space to do that. And so I encourage you, in order for that vision to, yes, it's a beautiful dream, but it's time that it comes to life. And it will, right? So never let anybody tell you, oh, it's not going to happen. Yes, timing will do that, but it takes, now is the time for you to step into it. And I'll say this, guys, it's not easy at all. I worked hours, I could only work so many hours, right? Whether they pay you 50, 100, whatever, whatever that is. But when you have a business and you really put the work in, you can almost 10x that kind of salary. You can 10x your salary. Just think of your business writing you a check every week or every 2 weeks, because guess what? You put the work in, or you taking a draw from your company, whichever way you talk that out with your CPA. Okay. And that's the beautiful thing. We talk about, with business and so forth. When I travel via my business. My business pays for the travel expenses when I travel. And my traveling is an investment because I use my business credit. Right. And so these are just some of the things that I can tell you when you figure it out, when you choose to show up and say, I am going to put my shoulder to the wheel. I'm going to put my shoulder to the wheel when it comes to my business, what I need to learn, the people that I need to have conversations with, the places and spaces I need to show up, the systems and the strategies, right? And all these other things that I say that I need, I'll make it happen. I will figure it out. They say commit and then figure it out. And it always works itself out because I believe once again that whatever we receive, whatever we get, okay? Whatever, let's say, how do I put this into words? Whatever it is that you say that you want and you truly believe it. And there's a quote that I don't have the full quote, but it says, you work like heck to get it. It must happen. It is law. It must, and it will happen. So if anything, I can say, allow yourselves to be accountable. Find yourself in a place or a space with other like-minded individuals who are making the investments in themselves to get to the next level. Whether it's a low-end course, whatever you need to get in, find yourself in that, whatever entrance you need to, and then start to get the feel for it. Because when you get the feel for it, that's the thing. That's how you're going to be able to support your clients. Because when your clients come and say, I'm just starting out, I don't have this, you're going to be able to tell them, maybe this is the way that you need to go. Because if you're outside looking in, it is very difficult trying to figure it out, trying to put it all together. I remember a particular, what would you say? She's an influencer. She's a coach. She's worked behind the scene with many of the majors. And I remember her saying something like, if you think that you are going to, she said, it's like you're at the department store and you have your face up against the glass like this, right? And you're looking at the stuff. You're just looking like what's in there. You're not going to get the full experience of that thing because your face is pressed up next to the glass, trying to figure it all out. And sometimes it can become confusing, right? It can be a little bit confusing, but I would say this: sit with your vision, really, truly sit with your vision and say, how do I get this support? What am I willing to do? Because this is how, if this is what I'm doing right now, this is not going to make it. In order for me to have the type of business that I say that I want, and the things that I know that you know that you know that you know that this is what you're supposed to do, you put that, you just put it right there and say, what are you willing to do to make that happen for you so you can step into your vision? Yes, I believe timing is everything, but I also believe the courage to step into the space for that thing, the courage to say, this is the thing that I know that I'm supposed to be doing. And I know for sure in my hearts of hearts, this is where I should be. And the moment you decide to do that and say, I'm willing to show up, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm willing to show up and just let go and let God. You will be pleasantly, not even surprised, you'll just be happy that you did that. All right. So I just wanted to stop in for a moment. There's no recording on this. Hope that you found this to be helpful. Your vision is worthy of you stepping into your calling, and it'll happen. Don't worry about it. Nobody will stress you and tell you that it's not. Yes, it took me 4 years to leave bedside, but in the meantime, while I was working, my job allowed me to invest into my personal development, because that was a thing that I knew that I needed, the information that I needed to get on the other side, so that when I actually stepped away from bedside, I stayed a few years too long, because it should have been only, but I tell you why it took 4 years. I started, and I tell this to a lot of people I speak to, I started preparing myself 4 years in advance. And so when I hit year number 20 and still tried to continue working, it was very difficult for me. It was difficult getting up to work, and my job was only 20 minutes away. It was very difficult going to sleep. Sometimes too, you will feel as if you were having, for me, one morning I felt like I was having a panic attack. Another morning, I felt like I was just going into work and I wasn't going to speak to anybody. I was just going to do my work, and that's not me. So people knew something was off. And I remember that morning I was driving to work, and I said to my husband, I'm just tired. And he said, you didn't sleep last night? I called him while I was driving. I said, no, I'm just tired. I just had a major attitude, right? And I drove the truck, right? And listen, I worked in, it's a little tough, that area that I worked at the time. And I only worked select a shift. That means I would build my own shift. So I only worked 16 hours a week. And I only went to work because I felt this way, guys. And some of you might have, maybe at the place that I'll work just enough. I'm not going to create any other bills. I'll just work just enough. But if something else happened, you need that extra money in the household, right? So I would just go to work, not to think about my businesses, right? Not to think about it. And that morning I drove and I left the truck maybe 5 blocks away from where I worked. And I called and I said, I just left the truck. And he said, where did you leave it? I said, I left it on such and such. He said, you did what? I said, yes. And I said, I just left it. there. And he said, why did you do that? I said, I wanted to walk and clear my head. Long story, you just don't do that there. And while I'm going to work, as close as I got to the emergency room, there was a helicopter coming in. I was like, oh boy. And the town's finest, they were around the building, and some shoot 'em up, bang, bang, some stuff happened. That's the morning of all mornings. I decided, right? Wanted to clear my head, not knowing what the heck I was walking into, but it was that bad. I just knew that I could no longer do this. I would put as much as I could into my patients, but I could no longer do it. I had to be true to myself. And so my coaches were able to support me on that. And I tell folks, I said, that's the other side of business that a lot of people don't talk about. You talk about life. When life steps in, what is that like? How do you navigate it? How do you navigate? You think that you have to be in this 9 to 5, when in fact you could do research to find it. People like, oh, I have to have insurance. God darn it, do some research and find out what kind of insurance you can have. You find out, oh, they're 401k. Go get I tell people there's so many ways that you can find out. Do the work first, because that, listen, I won't be doing this forever. So I started to do the work. I had things set up even years before. That's why I'm saying I stayed too long. And then when I decided to really dedicate to my business, I dedicated like the first 3 months. I dedicated to the clients that I wanted to attract. I started to spend more time on the phone. I started to follow up with people. I kicked in my customer service. Before nursing, I worked in the airline industry. So I knew that customer service was a thing. And so I started to work on that. I started to go through all the people that I spoke before, clients that I worked with, because I still coached at the time, but I wasn't doing it consistently. And then I started understanding about my pricing, right? So I started to change and restructure my pricing. I started adding more value to what I gave to my clients. And when I really showed up for my business, guess what? Things started to turn around for me. Things truly started to turn around because I was making these investments. I worked extra hours to pay those coaches, but I needed the systems and the strategies. And more than anything, I needed the discipline. I didn't try to do it on my own. And that's when I found out that there was no way I could continue doing things the way that I was doing it. 10 years before that, doing business my own, the way that I knew how to do it, when I did everything I knew how to do. And then when I hired someone, the ending of 2011, 2012, I haven't been without a coach since then. The personal side of things went up. And so even when you are planning on your business, you got to also think of your family. I knew that I had a growing family and that they would get older. And so what were we going to do when they got older? Right? I wasn't just thinking about my business. You think about your vacation, you think about your investments, think of all of those things when it comes to your business. Because if you try to separate yourself from your business, right? If you try to separate you from your business, then there's going to be a disconnect. There's going to be a disconnect. So in order, once again, for your business to, I'm going to drink some water. These guys, they're not sponsoring me, so next time I'll make sure I have my glass. If you disconnect yourself from your business, it will become more difficult because your business is an extension of you. So yes, in order for that business to be a reality, it will require you making the investment in you. Figure it out, guys. Find it yourself. Like I said, read those books, invest into Audible, invest some time on YouTube, find the information you need. Now there's a lot of, I listen to motivational things there because everybody is a guru on YouTube, but I'm not gonna knock it. If you know what you're looking for, you can get some information. And then decide how much do you want to invest into your personal development, because in all fairness, for somebody to shut down their businesses to coach you, and people have asked me that, you can go to my academy. My academy, in my bio here in Clubhouse, there are some programs or challenges that you could sign up for. They're all free. People say, I've never seen you sell anything. The information is there. You want to learn how to grow your list? I did something on that. You want to open your mind up to more? I did something up on that. You want to learn how to write your vision and to stay connected? I did that, because most of it is on mindset. And I do give a lot of information. And then there are people now who are in our mastermind. These are people who are creating their businesses. They are launching. Some are up leveling. Some are taking what they do to the next level. And I'm so proud and so honored that they chose me to support them, to walk alongside them, to do that, right? Because they wanted to take things to the next level. But to me, they're my assignment. You know, when you are assigned, you have to understand you're anointed and who you are assigned to. It's not just business. It's not just business. And that's why I said, God, if I'm going to do this work, these are the amounts of individuals I'll work with in a 12-month period, because it takes a lot. It takes bits and pieces of you, and you need to replenish yourself when you come to that. So when you're going to hold the space for somebody else's dream and their vision, especially their children, my goodness, and their legacy and their money and all of their investments and all of those good things, you really have to come correct. All right. So whomever or whatever you decide to do when it comes to your vision, when it comes to your intellectual property, I'm very big on my clients owning their intellectual property, because you know your intellectual property is the thing that can really change the trajectory of your life. That's the thing too. So there are lots of things to consider when you are saying, you know what, my vision is no longer a dream, it is a reality. My goodness. All right, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate you listening in. My link for some social proof, it's on Instagram. There's a link in my bio. You can scroll down, you'll see just a handful of the amazing people that I've worked with, not just nurses, but the majority are nurses. I never really, guys, did you know I never really coached nurses before? I really started doing that much in the last 3 years. I mean, I had some nurses who were coaches, but when I was told, and I said, Sharon, why not share how your journey and how you were able to move away from bedside and create a successful business. Yes, my coaching business and my brick and mortar, how I was able to do that. And when I saw that yes, it's a responsibility that I have to do that as a nurse, because we really understand each other. We understand the journey. I mean, I have nurses who are CNOs, nurse anesthetists, nurse practitioners, people who own their own spa, their concierge, their nurse navigate, you name it, all different types of nursing. They're doing different things. There's some who have become authors. I had one client who launched her own publishing company. That was her dream to do that. And while working together, she launched a very successful publishing company where she has published books, because that's what she loves to do. So even if it's not something dealing with nursing, that's why I tell people, do not give up on your dreams, because sometimes people keep thinking it has to be in nursing. I have a healthcare agency and I have a coaching business. My virtual coaching business, I absolutely love it. And yes, you can own businesses, guys. You don't have to do everything. You can put other people in place to run your business. Many of us have worked for institutions or nursing homes, and the owners aren't the ones doing the work, right? They found people to put into the spaces and places that they needed. So we can be multi-business owners. We just need to get into the headspace, or some people would say, yeah, into the space of me really being a CEO, running my business and understanding my businesses, making investments. I know nurses who are making investments in real estate. I have a client who's a nurse practitioner and has made some real estate investments, right? And able to get her line of credit, able to get her her business credit while working together. So that's the thing, guys. You can have these different things that you want to do, and no one can tell you that you can't do it. You start with one thing that you do well, and then you add the streams of income. Add the streams of income to your businesses, right? You can have your intellectual properties, your books, your digital products. You can speak, you do your workshops. You know, I spoke a couple, well, let's just say that I've been speaking in some places and spaces, and I'll say this, nurses, there are people who are commanding some really big checks, huge checks. They're getting huge paydays talking about things that we teach as nurses every day. And I'm not just talking about $2,000, $5,000, $8,000 or $10,000 on up. They are commanding that kind of money, teaching, speaking on things that we do. We just got to talk more about that. We just really got to talk more about that. Like, what are they doing? Mental wellness. That's a whole, that's a whole nother room I may have to do on that, because yeah, I see it a lot. I really do. And I'll sit in the audience and I'm like, okay, enough of this. And so I even, my clients in our mastermind, they are, I teach them how to create their own workshops. One of the biggest things with nurses is how to negotiate. We got to stop being afraid of saying the price that we are charging at that particular time, because nobody can tell you your worth. Oh, pay me my worth. Nobody can ever tell you what your worth is. The price that you choose to put on that at that time. And so I made a conscious decision that my clients are going to go after those things. And some of them right now are just waiting for the yes. A lot of people, and I'm like, guys, I can't do everything, but I'm going to tell you where it is. And I've seen it. So we have this vision. Just think of it. You have this dream and you're waiting, when in fact, you can create something. I have another client in the state that I live who created a program that one of the things that she's involved in, there's a law that was signed in by the governor of New Jersey. Now my client, that's what she, as a nurse, this is what she does full time. I just taught her how to do these workshops, how to go in and command what it is she said that she wants at that time. And she gets it. Somebody may be crazy enough to say yes. And I'm just telling you. So as nurses, as those of us who have this intellectual property, we have this information. If you don't know how to package it, position it, price it, and present it, that's where you are going to need the support. And that's how your life can totally change. You walk it. We'll talk more about it. But if you ever need to connect with me, there is a link above. There's a link above there. And I'm also going to share with you is a webinar that I do on, it's like every other Thursday. You may want to sign up for it. I think I'm going to share the link so you can definitely get that information. I love sharing with my audience because you guys are amazing. Amazing. If somebody wants to come to the stage, you're more than welcome to do so. I'm going to jump off because there's I think another room coming up in a bit. There's another room that's coming up at about, I think, 7:30 our time. So you may want to stay tuned for that. But yeah, if you want to just jump on for my launch and up level, that's the webinar that I do. I do some training there. I share a lot of information The last one that we had, one young lady, she took so many notes. She connected with me and said, I did these 5 things. Thank you. I was like, whoa, I didn't know I gave that much information. But sometimes you just need a little something, something to support you so you can get to the next level. So I really appreciate you. For those on the video here, I am going to drop a link. It's bit.ly/plan my up launch, and it is plan my up level, something like that. It's one of those guys. You'll see it come, and I will drop it so you can actually have it. Let me see, make sure that it is correct. But I do that so that you can definitely, that's to launch an up level. Yeah, you want to do that so you can um, continue to work on your vision, even if you've launched or you're looking to relaunch or you're looking to up level where you already are. It's important that you stay in action, right? You keep the momentum. All right, everybody, I'm Sharon, RN2CEO. It's been good. It's been great. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. We certainly look forward to connecting with you. And I do hope that you found some value in what I had to share with you today. All right. I'm going to say bye until next time. Take care now. If this served you, you can put your comment and let me know. Take care now. Bye-bye.